Have you ever felt like a pawn in someone else's game? Your choices carefully orchestrated to serve their agenda? Welcome to the captivating world of Law 31, the art of controlling the options, where cunning manipulators weave a web of illusion to make their victims dance to their tune. Prepare to dive deep into the serpentine tactics of these puppet masters and uncover the subtle yet sophisticated techniques they employ to seize control over our decision-making. More importantly, arm yourself with the knowledge to spot their deceptions and reclaim the autonomy they seek to steal. The illusion of free will. At the heart of Law 31 lies a deceptively simple premise: create the facade of free choice while covertly restricting the available options to those that serve your interests. The true genius of this approach lies in making the victim feel in control, their sense of agency preserved, even as they are inexorably guided towards the manipulator's desired outcome. Consider the case of Ivan the Terrible, the ruthless Tsar of Russia. Facing defiant boyars who threatened his tenuous grip on power, Ivan brilliantly presented his subjects with a false dilemma. Either accept him as an absolute despotic ruler, or witness the country descend into the abyss of anarchy and ruin upon his abdication. By withdrawing from Moscow for a month, Ivan gave the people a chilling preview of the chaos that would ensue without his iron fist. Confronted with this bleak prospect, the terrified populace begged Ivan to return and granted him the very absolute authority he craved. Cunningly, Ivan had shifted the blame. The oppressive rule that followed was not imposed, but freely chosen by the people themselves. 1. The Puppet Master's Toolkit. Mastering the art of controlling the options requires a diverse repertoire of manipulative techniques. Let us explore the key tools in the Puppet Master's arsenal. Framing the narrative. Henry Kissinger, the consummate strategist, exemplified this approach as Secretary of State under President Nixon. Rather than presenting a diverse array of policy options, Kissinger carefully curated a select few choices, deliberately structuring them to make his preferred course of action appear the most logical, safe, or beneficial. The insecure and pliable Nixon, lacking Kissinger's depth of foreign policy expertise, invariably deferred to the secretary's recommendation, never realizing he was being subtly manipulated. Exploiting emotions. The indecisive and the fearful are prime targets for manipulators who wield Law 31. Cardinal de Retz, for instance, understood how to play on the wavering Duke of Orleans' anxieties. By hyping up threats and dangers on all sides, Retz left the Duke with only the safest option, following the Cardinal's advice. In doing so, Retz ensured the outcome aligned with his own designs. Manufacturing scarcity. The Parisian courtesan Ninon de L'Enclos elevated this tactic to an art form. Rather than simply selling her favors to the highest bidder, Ninon presented her suitors with a tantalizing binary choice: become a payeur, who purchased her services, or a martyr, who visited her salon in the hope of one day becoming her exclusive favorite lover. Crucially, the remote possibility of attaining that coveted favorite status was the irresistible carrot dangling before the martyrs, keeping them ensnared in her web. Escalating consequences. Ambroise Vollard, the renowned art dealer, mastered the technique of shrinking options. Potential buyers would arrive at his shop, eager to view Cézanne paintings, only to find the desirable works had mysteriously vanished. Instead, Vollard would present them with increasingly inferior offerings. The customers realized that if they didn't act quickly, the best paintings would disappear, and they'd be left with no choice but to accept whatever Vollard deigned to provide, on his terms, not theirs. 2. How to detect the deception first. Lack of true diversity. No matter how many ostensible options are presented, they all ultimately funnel towards the same overarching outcome that benefits the manipulator. Ninon's suitors may have had the illusion of choice between payeur and martyr, but both roles serve to elevate her power and control. Second, suspicious framing. The way the choices are portrayed, or the risks and rewards depicted, betrays a clear bias that doesn't align with objective reality. Kissinger's carefully curated options for Nixon were designed to make the one he preferred seem the most reasonable and beneficial. Third, accomplice enticement. You're subtly made to feel like a willing participant or accomplice in the manipulator's scheme, dissuading you from ethical objections later. The con artist Serge Stavisky so entangled the French government in his scams that they felt compelled to leave him be, lest their own complicity be exposed. Fourth, mounting pressures. Steadily increasing perceived costs, threats, or negative projected outcomes for not complying with the offered choices. Vollard's buyers faced the prospect of settling for ever-worsening options if they didn't act quickly, driving them towards his preferred outcome. 3. Using it ethically. While Law 31 reeks of underhanded manipulation in the wrong hands, it can potentially be wielded as a tool for focus and responsible guidance when applied judiciously and transparently. In negotiations, for instance, one could present still reasonable options that tilt the balance slightly in their favor without resorting to deception. The key is ensuring the alternatives remain fair and viable, rather than deliberately inferior. This allows the other party to feel they are making a genuine choice, while subtly steering the outcome. Another ethical application is in managing willful individuals. By giving them a choice, uphold their duties now, or face escalating discomforts until they comply, the manipulator can promote accountability without resorting to coercion. The willful often enjoy doing the opposite of what is expected. By framing it as their choice, the desired behavior becomes the path of least resistance. Protective framing is a third ethical use of Law 31. Here, the most risky choices are restricted by presenting the remaining options as flexibly preferable alternatives. This can be helpful in guiding people, especially the vulnerable, away from harmful decisions without stripping them of all agency. And in designing workflows, decision-making processes, or even software user interfaces, the options can be structured to gently guide people towards optimal outcomes while still preserving their sense of autonomy. The key is maintaining transparency and avoiding the illusion of choice. Instead, creating genuine pathways aligned with the best interests of all involved. The distinction between ethical and unethical application of Law 31 lies in the preservation of true freedom of choice. Unlike the puppet masters, the judicious use of this law is not about exploiting vulnerabilities, but about simplifying decision-making for mutual benefit through responsible, transparent framing of options. Now, something important. The content you consume is food for your brain. Do it intentionally. Otherwise, the algorithm is designed to fuck with your brain. Think about it. Now, we're accepting donations in the form of channel subscriptions to support our upcoming project and deliver top-notch content to you. So, hit that subscribe button